Welcome, everybody. If you were just with us 15 minutes ago, welcome back again. We are so glad that you have joined us again. And tonight, we have a very special guest with us. I'm excited for the conversation tonight, mental health and recovery.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, coming from where are you out of, Jeff?
God, I just moved. Actually, I was in Bradenton, and now, as I was just telling Sonia, I'm in the sticks of Parish, and I guess this is
Florida.
By like
yeah.
Ellington.
Yes.
That's where I used to live, in Ellington.
You know what the best part about that is the outlet mall, right?
Yes, I used to work at the Applebee's right there. I used to get lit.
Absolutely. No, I'm not that far away. So yeah, no, I'm in Parish, right next to Ellington, and here in sunny Florida. Well, actually, freezing cold Florida.
Yeah, right now it's pretty freezing cold.
Is it freezing there?
It's pretty cold, yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's in like the 50s right now. And, for Florida, that's like really cold. Okay.
And hey, and just to say, it's great hoodie weather.
That's true.
It is.
It is, definitely.
So if you guys are in the comments right now, let us know where you are watching from. What's the weather over there? I mean, is 50s really cold to you, or is it just me? And if you wouldn't mind, if you are willing to share, if you have mental health struggles or if you're in recovery, please share it with us. Let us know. Let's get this conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about mental health and recovery today. And we're so glad that Jeff could join us because Jeff has actually done something. Okay, let me first start by the story of how I met Jeff because I think this is really cool, right? So I was at work one day. I don't even know if you know this, Jeff. I was at work one day and I work at NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness for anybody that doesn't know. Oh, Ohio's in the house. And Katie Booth, who is our operations manager at Yana, showed me this hoodie and she's like, I just met this, or I know this really cool guy, Jeff. I think you need to connect with him. He's doing something really amazing with these hoodies. And what I think is amazing is the hoodies actually have a mental health resource on it. I'm not going to give away too much. I'm going to let you do that.
All right.
So then we connected via email. And then we have connected several times since then. You were kind enough to send me some hoodies, which I love. My husband loves his too, by the way, because Katie gave me one while I was there that day. So he's decided that one is his. And so I have the ones that you sent me. And then we got to meet at NAMI Walks. And now we're getting ready to plan something really cool together. So anyways, that's enough of me giving away the secrets about hoodie. So, but it was really cool to meet you and I just love what you're doing. So I don't know if you want to kind of like talk about it a little bit or how the inception of this.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's just the story itself is kind of funny as well because I was actually just driving around Sarasota and a lot of people talk about things that they want to do, dreams that they want to accomplish, and they don't follow through or they hold back or they're a little bit passive about it. And I was in my car driving and then realized I had just passed the NAMI office. And I ended up going home, getting my hoodie, and then driving back to the NAMI office to say, hey, look, I came up with this idea. I've integrated this QR code that provides mental health resources. And it's a passive way to do it, right? Because we all kind of struggle with it one way or another. But being able to get access to kind of help without having to, it's the stigma that we all talk about. We don't want to really say it out loud, but it's there. So I was trying to figure out how can I do this? And that's where the QR code came in. And then I walked into the NAMI office with my hoodie completely and I have an opportunity to be on Shark Tank, which is fantastic. So this was my initial pitch. And I walk in and I kind of presented the whole idea and nothing worked. It was such a train wreck. It was hysterical. I'm like, yeah, I got this great idea and I really want to help with mental health and just scan the QR code and look, these resources come up off the hoodie and nothing worked because I had changed it the night before. But NAMI has been so great. Katie has been great, embracing me, helping us, you and I connect, which is great, doing NAMI walks, which was fantastic. And the story itself is just like, I just kind of tripped into it, hoping for the best, not even prepared for all the craziness that happened. But one thing led to another. They believed in the concept and they saw that it actually did work. And it's really given me kind of an opportunity to try and promote a clothing line that's really focused and really has a strong social mission, to help mental health.
I love that. I mean, it's such a cool story. And I think that it is pretty funny, like when you went there the first time and then it didn't work. And
It was. You know what I really said, and I think one of the phrases I said as I wrapped it up, I'm like, I really hope that this doesn't happen when I'm on Shark Tank, because this is going to be so catastrophic. But it's it kind of helped me, right, get ready for that. So I'm excited about the opportunity with Shark Tank. So that is something that is real and is it'll happen in 2024. So fingers crossed that I actually get to be on the show.
That's super exciting.
It
Let
is.
us know when you're going to be on, because it'll be recorded after, right? They don't do live, so.
Well, it will, but you know what's really interesting about that? Shark Tank, they're actually doing. I had an opportunity to be on Shark Tank season 14. I had 2 ideas that went through. Hoodie was one of those. It didn't have the same social mission, but the beauty about what they did at that point was like, hey, Jeff, here's our phone number. They actually gave me their number to keep in touch with them.
Nice.
So I followed up with them once I really came up with the idea of making this, my mission around mental health. They said that they've kind of changed the way they're doing it. And the best part about Shark Tank now is they're going to do open casting calls. So it's going to be a lot like America's Got Talent or American Idol, and people are going to come in. So I have to go do kind of what I did with NAMI, 6 months ago. I have to go do my 1-minute pitch and say, here's what this is. And I think that's going to make great TV, right? Because people are going to fluster a little bit and they're going to struggle, but there's going to be some great ideas, and I want to be one of those.
Yes. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is a great idea. If you could talk a little bit too about what makes this hoodie a mental health resource, and what happens when you discover the mental health resource that is connected to the hoodie. Because I just think that's the coolest thing ever. It's such a genius idea. Anyways, I'm gonna let you talk about it. I want to give it away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for me, having 3 daughters, and being a creative person, my day job, like you work for NAMI. I actually run a marketing agency during the day. Always creative. My kids came up to me and said, hey, Dad, I want to go buy a hoodie from Hollister or Supreme, Abercrombie and Fitch, all of that. I'm like, I'm not spending $200 on a hoodie. I kind of said, I'll come up with my own little logo. I'll make some really cool designs and I'll sell hoodies for $50. That's where the idea came from. And I did some things with Winwood, and I took pictures of some really cool street art and turned those into hoodies. But, the reality of what I do, I think we all have this passion to do something to make a difference in the world. And my kids, my middle daughter specifically, struggles with mental health. She's anxiety, depression, attempted suicide as a freshman in high school. I mean, there's things that I've had to deal with as a parent, and there's not a handbook out there to say, hey, this is how you deal with it. It's kind of, fly by the seat of your pants and hope that you do the right thing. And I think I got to a certain point where I always had a passion to do something that means something. And then I had this, I don't know, aha moment. I saw the light, God spoke to me and said, hey, do this. It just felt like the right thing to do. And, I being the creative person I am, I'm like, oh, wow, can you print a QR code on a piece of clothing and actually have it work? And I was so surprised that when I did the test one, I actually did it. It was a restaurant that had really cool street art in Tampa. I took a picture of it, and then I put QR codes all over it because I wasn't quite sure. Do I put it on the hood? Do I put it on the sleeve? Do I put it in the pocket? And then I printed it out, and all of them worked, which was amazing. And then I tapped into, how do I provide resources? And some of the things that I would love to have, and even, some of the, people watching tonight is being able to provide those resources. What are other things that I could do to incorporate this to try and help other people? Because, I'm writing articles, or I'm going to NAMI, or I'm going to Jed Foundation, and I'm looking at all of those resources, and that's what I'm trying to share. But ultimately, the QR code, you scan that and it takes you to a list of resources. The first one is the suicide hotline. That's a thing. It's something we have to deal with. And if you're battling with that, then let that be the first link. Let me try and provide a vehicle for you to try and get the help you need. You might not feel like, hey, the world's against me right now. What do I do? But that's the first thing there. And then there's happiness, and then there's breakups. We all go through this craziness in our lives, and there's anxiety and there's depression. But really what I wanted to do is be able to provide a vehicle with a QR code to give you all of this access, so you don't have to worry about the stigma. I don't want to go talk to my best friend, or I don't want to tell my parents, or whatever that is. Let me find a way that I can help people get there without, a little bit more of a passive way for therapy.
I love that. And when I went on there, because the first thing that I did was scan the QR code and check out the website and followed the QR code to the resources. And I just thought, wow, this is just such a great idea. I mean, the resources that are on there, like you could click different things. And it's just, it's amazing because a lot of times people, especially if you're, in that place where you just really don't want to talk to anybody, you don't want to reach out, you're in a dark place but you have a resource there. And I just think that it's such like it's more than like, cuz the designs are really cool, you know what I'm saying? So the designs are amazing, but it means something. And I think that that's so amazing.
No, and I think the most important thing about that is that it actually worked for you than before I walked into NAMI.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really cool, and I feel like almost like we like with this, you're definitely like stomping out stigma, but you're really kind of like normalizing, like I don't know how to say this, like not promoting, but like more than normalizing mental health, that like it is okay. Like, yes, like because a lot of people, especially when you're young, right? Like when I was young, I was like, I don't know. I'm just sad all the time. I don't know why I tried to eat a bottle of aspirin at 11. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that I had like mental health issues. I just thought there was something wrong with me, So definitely like it breaks way for conversations and to just, make it like not so wrong to have, if somebody struggles with mental health.
Yeah, and I think another part of that is those resources, they help you with the vocabulary, right? Because you don't know how to articulate how you feel. You might be struggling with a few things, and it gives you some of the words and context to have a conversation with somebody else, so that you don't feel like, oh, hey, I sound like I'm out of left field on this thing. But it normalizes it, to your point. But really, it kind of gives us the tools we need to try and have that conversation, to seek the help that we all kind of need.
Yeah, and that's so true. Like we all go through struggles, and I love the way that this normalizes it. And I hope that it just catches on and spreads like wildfire, because we need to start talking about these struggles. Like the only way that I've ever been able to really get through anything is through talking about it, And so I just think that it's really cool, like when you're representing the brand, right? When you're representing mental health, when you're saying like, hey, this is who I am and this matters to me, and maybe it will start conversations too. I mean, I think that that's just really cool.
Well, and I think, yeah, a lot of that, and some of the things that we've talked about, Sonia, other ways that we can kind of help, promote it, right? Some of the ideas for TikTok and things that we're going to do out in the real world to try and spark that conversation, draw more attention to it. I think it's definitely going to help. And I think another thing that's really important is, as much as I'm the founder of a clothing line, and I really appreciate that you like the designs and all of that. That's fantastic. But my business model is not self-serving. We all want to make money. We all want to be successful. But, what I've really done is kind of tried to start to build a company that gives back to the community. And it's not just trying to help with mental health, but for every hoodie that we sell, 100% of the post-tax profits go to benefit NAMI. It's not money that's going into my pocket. It's really something that I want to keep paying it forward to help others. And I think that's an important part of this is it's not self-serving. Mental health is a real thing. It's about erasing the stigma And it's not about making $1 million. Yeah, great, I can try and get on Shark Tank, but I mean, there's a thing that I want to promote there, and it's making
Right.
positive change in this world. And I think a lot more people are receptive to that. I think that that's a thing in this world, that people genuinely care. You hear all the bad press, but
Mhm.
let's start building some positive, positivity in the world, and say, look, people are really trying to make a difference, and it's not always so self-serving.
Mhm. I love that. I didn't even know that you were giving back to NAMI. That's amazing. That's amazing. And there's a lot of people in the comments. I've been noticing as we've been talking, a lot of people in the comments have shared that they're struggling with anxiety or depression. And, me too. I mean, we all have some sort of struggle. So just thank you guys for sharing about that. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, any ideas around other topics, that Hoodie
Mhm.
could promote on our, for our QR code, our
Mhm.
resources that we provide. We do have anxiety and depression and those kinds of things, and the most recent blog article that I wrote, which is a couple days ago, was really trying to, how do you erase the stigma? What is mental health stigma? How does it
Mm.
affect people, and what do when we talk about it, what are other people thinking that they're not saying? Trying to approach it that way. But yeah, I welcome any information on how to make it better. How can I make this help everybody? And I appreciate any comments that help us get to that point.
I think
Well,
it would be really cool if you have like when you scan, you could have maybe like testimonies from people who like deal with things, like my name is Jamie and I have lived with I'm a person that lives with bipolar manic 1 and this is how I work, with my mental health every day.
Mhm.
And and this is my life and I am still successful in these I'm successful in these ways and I'm a you know what I mean? I'm a mom and I'm a business owner and I have amazing friends and you know what I mean? Just like pointing out like the positive, like saying like, hey, like I do have, I am a person who lives with this, but I am also, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think encouraging that dialogue is fantastic, and I think that's another part of, what we want to do as a company. Going out and doing things that are fun and viral and social and all that is fantastic. But I've met a lot of people in the community that are barbers, or they do, they're. I have daughters, so it's eyelashes and nails and all these other things.
yeah.
Things I don't do. I have no hair. I don't have nails. I don't do my eyebrow. All that kind of stuff. But I talk to these people, and what I really think would be intriguing is to like do a quick little, 1 minute testimonial of somebody that's there getting their nails done and saying, how do you deal with, mental health? Because we all deal with it. To your point, I think having that dialogue, having those conversations, really spark the awareness, right? And then we start learning how we can start coping with these things and know that there's a resource, that there's somebody out there to help us.
Mm, I love that. Because mental health and substance use recovery really run hand in hand. And so the recovery for mental health or substance use looks very much the same in a lot of ways. And so one thing that's really helpful for pretty much, I would say, everybody who has struggled with substance use is finding hope, right? That there is a different life, like there is recovery is possible. And so I love the idea of like kind of applying that same into mental health, because recovery is possible. Like you can live with and be successful with mental health challenges. Mhm.
Yeah, and I think we live through that every day, right? Because we're all kind of the same
Oh,
thing.
we lost you for a minute, but you're back. Okay.
So, and I was just saying, we battle with that. Everybody battles with that on a daily basis, and those recovery stories are those are the things that we need to hear about, because that's that gives people, to your point, the hope to get through it.
hmm Yep, absolutely. So why don't we kind of tell people what we're getting ready to do? We're gonna go on a little mini mission.
Oh, I know, I can't wait. I'm so excited about this little mini mission. I feel like we need like the Mission Impossible theme, like playing in the background to kind of like set up the mood and what we're gonna do. So
I
So,
was
yeah,
thinking,
Sonia,
I forget how it goes.
yeah, I will have to produce this a little bit. I'll be ready next time because I've got the props, I got all the stuff, I got the sound effect. So yeah, Sonia and I were talking about doing walking around the local mall in Sarasota, UTC, and if we told you a time and a date, then you guys might know to be there. But we want to give away hoodies. We want to walk around and we want to give away hoodies, but we also want you to give us your hoodie. So we're going to walk around and we're going to ask for your hoodie. Give me your hoodie. And it's going to come out just like that. We're going to be a little aggressive about it. All right. We want your hoodie. But we want your hoodie for a reason, because what we want to do is give you a brand new hoodie, one of our hoodies with the QR codes and the designs. We'll let you pick out what you want. But the reason for that is we want to be able to give you that hoodie, and we also want to have a conversation. How do you cope with mental health? And we're going to ask for your hoodie in return. And not only are we going to take that hoodie, and we're not just going to take it and wear it for ourselves. My daughter has been in inpatient care several times. As I mentioned, she's battled with mental health. We really want to take that and pay it forward. I think, as you know, our social mission is really to, not only be able to donate to NAMI, but if we're going to take those hoodies from you, we're also going to be able to pay it forward and give it to inpatient care. Having my daughter in inpatient care, the first thing they do is take your laces because they're afraid you're going to try and hang yourself or cause damage. That is something that we want to do as a company, is come up with customized laces that kind of might say, I am enough, or yeah, we feel you, those kind of things. But we want to take your hoodie. We're going to take the laces out because we want to be safe, but we're going to donate those. We want to pay it forward and be able to help, some of the inpatient facilities and give those kids, especially now it's freezing out. But we know if you're a Florida resident, it's cold in all of these things. It's cold in the mall. It's cold everywhere. So hoodies are a thing. But those are the things that we want to do. I mean, that's going to be fun, Sonia, is just to walk around. And if nobody shows and we just completely surprise everybody, that'd be great. And if they see us wearing hoodies and tap us on the shoulder, you might get a hoodie. You don't know. But I think it'll be fun to do that and really, be able to obviously promote hoodie and what we're trying to do, but be able to gather hoodies as well and give those to other people that might need them.
Mm-hmm. And what it makes me think of too is it's more than just like the social mission, like you were saying, because once we take your hoodie, right, when we say, give me your hoodie, and then we give that back to that person that's an inpatient, what I remember about these facilities is they are cold. They are very cold. I was freezing the whole time. And a lot of times you don't go into those kind of situations prepared. So you don't have like long johns or socks or whatnot. And so to have somebody give you a hoodie for that situation, like it's more than just keeping somebody warm, like it's showing that person that they are loved and they are cared about. And somebody wants them to be warm because they care about their situation. And I just think that, makes a big statement to somebody who's going through a crisis at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That they're thought of. Yeah, that they were thought of beforehand.
Right.
Like we did this for you for this time.
Yeah, I think all of those are great points. And I think the one thing you say, it's cold, but what's a hoodie? It's warm, right? And what's a hug? A hug is warm. So it could be it's not a virtual hug, but at least it kind of pays that, it gives you that comfort feeling, right? When somebody gives you a hug, it's that embrace really means a lot and helps you get through things.
It really does, and a lot of people have like sensory issues, or just even having a hoodie on, like you said, like it's comforting. It feels good to be wrapped up in something and to know that the thing that you're wrapped up in was given in love and given in support. That's such a beautiful thing.
No, absolutely. I can't wait till we do it. I mean, so if you guys are walking around, are we thinking UTC sometime on the January 13th?
Yep. I sent you a calendar invite.
Right.
So on January the 13th from 11 to 1 p.m., if you're going to be in Sarasota, go to University Town Center Mall and look for the really cool hoodies. And you could be a part of our social experiment, because really that's what it is. It's like a social experiment for a social movement. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we'll probably put a little bit more pub around it, but I think it'd be great to have people there. It'll be fun to do that and just just to get the response and just see those real reactions, especially when you say, give me your hoodie.
And
You went on mute, Jamie.
January 13th is so close.
I know, and you
I wish
just left.
I know. I wish it was still cold there in like March.
I don't know. Sonia, do we make a trip to Georgia?
I know. Good.
Oh.
Yes, definitely. I know I need to make another trip to Georgia for sure.
There is a huge mall out here called the Mall of Georgia. It is humongous. So
I've heard about that. It's like one of the biggest malls in America, or it used to be, didn't it?
yeah, it's huge.
Okay.
It is huge.
Well, I just want to shout out David real quick because today is his 1-year anniversary. So we just want to tell you, David, congratulations. We're so proud of you. Yeah. Okay, so I put the link to the website in the chat. So if anybody wants to go check out Hoodie, please go feel free to check it out. Support. Do we have a Facebook page yet?
I mean, we do have
Okay.
a hoodie page, and we also have a Sonia 10 discount that I created.
Oh, I love that.
So if anybody's interested in purchasing a hoodie, it is Sonia 10. We'll give you a 10% discount on that. And again, don't forget, those proceeds do go to benefit, 100% of them go to benefit NAMI as well. So, and that's NAMI Sarasota specifically. NAMI's so big, I want to say that just so it's not like, a national kind of thing. It is specific to Sarasota right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, NAMI is big. And actually the yesterday we did our annual board meeting and they played a video from NAMI Walks and you were on the video. So it was kind of crazy. I'm like, I'm going to see him tomorrow.
That's amazing. And the other thing, I just got the email that NAMICon for 2024. I'm actually putting my proposal in to try and present a hoodie as part of that. So, I'm looking for a trip to, was it Denver? Maybe, I think somewhere in Colorado, I could be going. And I really want to try and present, a way that we can erase the stigma and make, mental health, awareness cool, right? I don't want the stigma to it. Let's, it could be cool artwork and all the things that we're doing as Hoodie, but I really want to try and present that to NAMICon in 2024.
That's so cool. We're making mental health awareness cool. That's exactly what we're doing.
That is 100% it. I can't wait till I see you again so that we can like spray paint that or do some kind of artwork with that.
I love that. We should make a hashtag too and take pictures and say making mental health cool or something.
I think there's something there. So we'll give me 24 hours. We'll see what I can come up with.
Okay.
Make the magic happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you have any kind of like last words? If there's anybody struggling with mental health challenges right now, and we know that many of the people in the comments have shared that they're struggling with mental health challenges, do you have any experience or hope or wisdom that you would like to share with them?
Yeah, you know what? I think don't keep it inside, right? I think we've all battled with it. It really helps to have a conversation. The only thing I can say from my experience, especially with my daughter, and I don't think I handled it the right way. She was ninth grader and attempted suicide, but as a parent, I was afraid to even say the word suicide around her because I really thought that was going to be a trigger. And I think for me, holding that in made it prolonged the recovery. She's an amazing young woman right now. I'm so proud of her for who she's become and what she's doing in her life. But that's one regret I have is that I bit my tongue and I was afraid to say something. And I think a lot of mental health is you're afraid of the reaction. And I think that you really, you need to open up and have that conversation. And you might be completely out of your comfort zone. But I really think there's value in just taking a leap of faith and just saying it because nothing bad's going to happen. and everybody's probably thinking the same thing, but if you don't say it, it's not, that's a step backwards in recovery. You need to just, own up to it and just go for it. And I think that's the only wisdom I that I can share from personal experience, that really meant something in my life. Is it's something that I even had conversations with her as well. I said, Eva, the hardest thing for me was ever to say that to you. I never wanted to have that conversation because I didn't know what was going to happen. And now I have an open dialogue with all my kids, and I don't bite my tongue, and I can't, because I love them, and there's so many challenges in this world that you need family and love and hugs and all these great things to help you get through it, because it's not always a cakewalk. And I think I think, what did I see that you said earlier, Sonia, is you have to work for it. It's not easy to get. You really got to battle to get to the point where you have things and appreciate things and all that, but there's a struggle there. And I think you said the struggle's real.
Yes.
And that's, it's true, and the struggle part of that is admitting, like, hey, I got an issue, or hey, I need to help somebody, or I recognize this is wrong. Say something.
I love that wisdom that you shared, because especially when it comes to something such as, like, having suicidal thoughts, it's so scary. It's so scary. And especially, like, as parents or as loved ones, like, we're afraid what we might say. If we say the wrong thing, is it going to make it worse? So I just really appreciate you saying that, because it is hard to talk about it sometimes, but also, I mean, it's kind of like ignoring the elephant in the room when you're not talking about it and you're both aware of it. And so I just really appreciate that, because that's really good wisdom that you shared.
Well, and I'm just kind of I'm just sharing what you shared. You know what I mean? The struggle's real.
Yes.
And training, I like how you said that on the QR code, they have like, language to be able to kind of like educate, because I know with like families, like my family, like they didn't know how to, talk to me about it. Like, I was 18 or 19 years old, and it took a bottle of mental health meds, and had to go to the hospital and drink a thing of charcoal. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't know how to talk to me about it. It was like you said, like the elephant in the room. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't know how to talk to me about it. And so we never really like talked about it. They brought me to my appointments, for my psychiatrist and whatever, but we never had like a healthy, open, like conversation. You know what I mean? I think that would have really, could have really kind of like changed like the trajectory of my life if that had happened.
No, I agree. It's I don't know how many times it's I guess what you said just resonates with me. Do you know what I mean? It's the fact that they didn't say those things, and I know that I just did that same thing, and it does change the trajectory of that, because if you would have had those conversations sooner or said things, it really would have made an impact. And I think that's something that everybody should take note of. It's the hardest conversation ever, because you think something's going to trigger somebody. And you don't know what step. It's like walking on landmines. You don't know where you're going to step. And I think there's a point where you'd appreciate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because looking back now, hindsight's 2020. But if you would have had that conversation, things might have been advanced a little quicker. We're still in good spots and we get there. But this is an opportunity to do it a little bit better and a little bit smarter, and not be afraid. It's the stigma. It's you don't want to talk about it. Again, it's the elephant in the room. I almost, as you guys are talking, excuse me, I'm thinking about creating an elephant hoodie.
I love that.
That's perfect, because that's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, and it came back full circle. It was so interesting when my father passed away. He was 42 in 2006. And he had a heart attack, but the reason that he was his third heart attack at 42, but he had, substance issues because he was depressed, right? So he had pills to go to sleep, pills to wake up, pills to for pain, pills for anxiety, pills for, you know, all these things. And then, you know, a bottle of Bacardi to throw on top of it every day, you
Mhm.
know, and 2 packs of cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? And like, but I didn't know how to talk to him about it. And that's like one of my biggest regrets is being able to just be like, Dad, I love you. Are you okay? You know what I mean? Like, is there something that I can do? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, it's like, man, I wish like I would have been educated on like how to, like
I,
how I could have like talked to him.
I can completely relate. My youngest daughter is 13. Eva's 20 now, going on 21. She's, you know, it's finals right now, or midterms, or whatever that is. And she looks like she hates life right now. You know, I got to take tests, and, you know, typical 13-year-old girl. And I'm like, you know, I'm a little bit more, my sensitivity's heightened because of what's happened, but I'm also not, I've learned from my mistakes. Hey, what's wrong? Hey, what's going on? You know, I know school sucks. I hate it, blah, blah. You know, I just want to relate to like whatever you're going through to try and help you out, you know, to her. And I think it's important. And I think we need to learn from those things, and make sure it helps us grow.
Mhm. Yeah. Mm. You know, I recently took a course called Intentional Peer Support. And one of the things that they talked about was kind of this topic of not speaking about things, right? I mean, if somebody shares that they're struggling, especially if they say that they're having thoughts of harming themselves or someone else, immediately, as soon as that's said, it's like this series of events happens, right? As soon as you say it, they get you in a Baker Act. I don't know if that's what it's called also in Georgia or in other places, but it's like a psych hold. 72 hours you're in a psych hold. And so what happens is that you have taken this person who's saying like I am struggling, and you've locked them up in a place where now they are isolated
Yeah.
and they're not really going to be able to talk to anybody about it other than a doctor who cannot relate to them, right? And so what happens is it becomes this like cycle, right? Like I know if I say this, I'm going to wind up here. They're going to put me on meds. And then, you know, what it does to that person is it implies to them like they're broken and you need to be fixed, you know, when maybe we just need to have a conversation
Mhm.
and allow you to freely talk about how you feel. Let's get through this together and talk about. I mean, of course, there are times when you have to be aware of safety measures, but a lot of times people just want to talk. They just need to talk about it. And if they open up to you, you can work with them in a way so that it's safe for both of you, but you're partnering with them and walking alongside of them instead of just, you know, putting them in an institution or
Mhm.
whatever to, you know, yeah.
No, I've been there. Eva's, you know, she said that. You know, my middle daughter has said, you know, and you know the series of questions: are you going to harm yourself? Do you have a plan? You know, I've been
Mhm.
there, and I've seen it happen, and it's unfortunate because I think as a society, from a medical standpoint, we just react. You know,
Right.
we don't dive deeper. It's like, oh, okay, we got to protect them immediately, and you're not asking the questions that's going to help solve the. You're going to solve the problem, but at least you know it's the first step in admitting there's an issue, and not like, oh, okay, you're going to kill yourself. All right, we got to protect you, because it's just going to make. I think it's going to compound it um,
Right.
even more. So it's, you know, because to your point, Tanya, kids are so smart. They're going to know how. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going to say this, this, and this, and I know what's going to happen. But you know,
Mhm.
it's ridiculous. I think, and I think, you know, even knew how to play the system. You know, she got in
Right.
there, knew what she did, and you know, thankfully she came out the other end. And but it's a game. I think kids get it, and why can't we just help them more instead of locking them up? And I don't think that's the solution.
Right. And you're right. The system, all systems, but you know, mental health system is very reactive. And so what happens is that you're addressing the symptom on the surface, but never really looking at the root cause, you know, and it takes time to get to that. Like you said, you know, like you got to do the work. You have to be willing to talk about it and process through some things in a safe space, hopefully with a safe person that can walk alongside of you. But you know, it takes time to process through that stuff. Nothing really that you're going to get to the answer of in 3 days, especially if we're just trying to, you know, treat what we see right here. and then get you out the door, because that's what happens in these systems is we just want to take care of this presenting issue and
Yeah.
then get you out the door to get the next bed filled, and so it just never, it's like a cycle.
No, it's unfortunate that it's that, and I think that that's part of my goal, right? Is to help facilitate the conversation, to help give you resources to, at least give you the language to talk maybe about how you feel, because some keywords are going to trigger. It's funny to say this, but it's going to trigger the providers because
Right.
they're going to jump into something else. It's not going to trigger you. You're going to be like, well, if I say this, I know what's going to happen, and then they're just so reactive. They're just going to go ahead and do it.
Right. And you're right. I mean, that's why hoodie is such an amazing thing, right? Because we are destigmatizing it. And I think stigma is another word for prejudice, right? And so we are destigmatizing this and showing them that mental health awareness is really cool and that recovery is possible. Not only that, like you can be supported, and we want to love you and support you and walk through this journey with you. And so you're right, like it is really cool. And I can we talk about that hoodie that you have on real quick? Can you tell us a little about that story?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think as you're talking about these things, I understand where you're kind of going. Yeah. I mean, after talking to Katie and getting an opportunity to set up a booth for NAMI Walks back in October, my concept and a promise I made is I'm not there to sell hoodies. I'm there to help promote and raise awareness around mental health, and my way of doing that was to kind of, I had a 10-foot wide piece of canvas by 2 feet, look like this. And what I did is I asked people who were at the event is draw me a doodle of a face. Are you happy? Then draw a happy face. Are you sad? Draw a sad face. Are you anxious? Draw an anxious face. If you don't want to draw a face, write a word. It doesn't matter what it is. And really what this hoodie represents is a culmination of all those designs, all of these things. I mean, I have, like I said, I've got my, all my stuff ready in front of me, my props, but I took this canvas and then turned it into this hoodie. This is all the stuff that people drew and wrote from that event. And I turned it into this hoodie, and I was really surprised how great it came out, which is fantastic. But it really represents, the people that were at the event and how they felt. Some of them, it says strong. What did you write? Because I have it on the back of the hoodie, and I'm not going to take it off right now because I don't want to, I don't want to go viral right away or anything like that after I do this.
I think it says you are loved with a heart.
Exactly. It is. It is. And it's on the hood itself. But that's what I want people to capture from that is deal with however you're feeling. Just let it out, and we're turning it into a hoodie, and you can look at it. And I went to the thank you event, the reception. And it was amazing to see the reaction from people who actually like drew pictures. They're like, oh, that's my design. It made it on there. I'm like, and they all look like the same artist, which is even weirder because of the fact that it's 100 different people doing different things, and they all came out so similar. But that really what the motivation is let out how you feel. Let's create something cool with it, and then integrate the QR codes and all those kinds of things are on there as well. But it is a representation of how people in Sarasota feel right now. And I think that's a good thing. And I think I might try and do one that's a little bit more national, is have people submit artwork and turn that into another hoodie as well. And who knows, I might even do an art show someday with all the stuff that I have, because I think there's so many cool things to do that we could just turn it into something that's even bigger than what just a hoodie is right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, that would be so cool. I mean, I can just see that like internationally.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I was talking to Katie. I was like, let's get a car. Let's drive a car around the country and just have people.
Yes, we did that with the bus here for the Georgia. It was a Georgia Recovers tour, and they went all over the state, and everybody like signed their name and wrote their clean day. They wrote stuff on it, So that would be super fun.
I think that's perfect, and I think we auction the bus off, and then give that money to NAMI.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, well, This has been such a great conversation and such an important conversation. And what you're doing is so important and so valuable. So I just want to say thank you for taking your experience and turning it into something so meaningful. I mean, it really is so cool. And I love what you're doing. And I can't wait to collaborate again in January. And I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys will get to see some footage from that because we're definitely going to be recording some for you. So,
Well, and thank you, Sonia. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for giving me the opportunity just to share kind of, my passion. So and Jamie, you guys, I appreciate just being able to, tell everybody about what my concept is and the things that we're doing. So I appreciate your support as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
yes, definitely. And if you go to Georgia, you'll have to go meet Jamie.
I will definitely do that. I was born in Atlanta, so I'm kind of a Georgia boy. So
Okay.
I can head north.
Nice, nice. Well, look, there's so many organizations, out here that you could come visit and stuff if you do so.
Absolutely. So I look forward to it.
Yes. And so anybody that wants to check out the website, I did put the links in all of the different platforms that we're on right now. But if you didn't see them, it's www.hoode. So it's HOODE.co.co. So go check it out, you guys. Put Sonia 10 if you want to get one for a 10% discount.
Yeah.
And so we'll be doing some more stuff later. So you guys will hear more as this progresses. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good night.
Yeah.